It's time for Refresh Your Lineup, presented by Subway. Florio, take us through your waiver wire targets.
Trevor Lawrence, who played really well this past week. Marcus Mariota, who continues to do it with his legs and is a good matchup against the Bengals. Justin Fields, I don't love the matchup, but if you're going a little bit deeper at quarterback, same thing with Danny Dimes there against the Jags next week. Running backs, Kenyan Drake, because J.K. Dobbins' knee was bothering him yesterday, and Drake played really well. Brian Robinson, don't forget about what he did on Thursday night. And Deion Jackson, I know he's not useful if Jonathan Taylor returns, but have him on your roster because of what he did this past week. And then some wide receivers. Alec Pierce, I think, is the top receiver to grab. Darnell Mooney, if he's available in your league, getting more work as of late. Wan'Dale Robinson returning this week, scored a touchdown. Rondell Moore, because Marquise Brown is up in the air right now. And then Evan Ingram getting more work. And in a revenge game next week, Big Bob Tanyon getting more volume. And then K-Dot and the tight end has been getting more work in Tampa Bay, and unfortunately we saw Cameron Brate exit yesterday due to injury.
Yeah, but keep an eye on Cameron Brate, but yeah, it didn't look good for him, so that could mean some more opportunities for K-Dot. By the way, you want some more in-depth analysis on some of these waiver wire picks, be sure to check out Matt Okada's column. NFL.com/waiverwire comes out every Monday, so click over there and give that one a look. But let's talk about some of the guys that were on this list here. Kenyan Drake, you mentioned he really got a big opportunity because J.K. Dobbins' knee got stiff. The Ravens were taking it cautious with him. We still aren't sure when Gus Edwards is going to be back. I will take a little bit of pride in saying that I grabbed Kenyan Drake as an emergency start, and it certainly worked out. Didn't think it would work out for nearly 20 fantasy points. I would have been happy with like 9 or 10. But this does beg the question, can we see Kenyan Drake maybe getting more opportunity even when J.K. Dobbins is back and ready to go?
I think so, because like J.K. Dobbins, I mean, if his knee's getting stiff and we're still worried about him, and like that's a legit concern moving forward, right? And Kenyan Drake has shown us that he can be an effective running back. I mean, we've had a lot of different people show us that they can be effective running in this Lamar Jackson offense, but Drake played great yesterday. He handled a bunch of snaps. I mean, J.K. Dobbins really, we didn't see him again after the first quarter, and I was wondering, like, what is going on? He's someone that I was talking up this week. I like the matchup, and now I'm just like, if I don't have J.K. Dobbins many places, but if I have him, like, how can you really feel good about starting him next week?
I have him in a couple of places, not a ton, but I do have him in a couple of lineups, and I do have to wonder, like, what is the issue and how cautious are the Ravens going to be with him? But what you saw out of Kenyan Drake also reinforces that Baltimore wants to run the football, and I think they've been very heavy on Lamar trying to throw it, which seems great until you remember that their wide receiver group is okay. It's not special. And so now you wonder if they get back to basics running the football. Brian Robinson, you mentioned, look, it wasn't a pretty game against the Chicago Bears last week. Washington did pull it out. But it does look like Brian Robinson is ready to sort of take over in that Washington backfield. I know we saw a little bit of Antonio Gibson, but it looks like the rookie is sort of ready to roll back there.
Yeah, I think he is the top Washington Commanders running back to roster. He led them in snaps, 17 carries there. That being said, I still think he's just a flex option right now until he shows us more. He scored a touchdown to get in double-digit fantasy points, but this was a game where it was close throughout. I'm not sure the Commanders are going to be playing with the lead in many games, especially like next week against the Packers. I think Robinson is a flex guy because when they're trailing, we know we're going to see a lot of J.D. McKissick, and Antonio Gibson, I think, is borderline droppable at this point.
Definitely droppable. I was thinking the same thing about Antonio Gibson, but he did get some work last week, so I don't know where I stand on Antonio Gibson at the moment. Also of note, Carson Wentz injured that hand, might have a fracture in his finger, is supposed to be getting more tests this week, so we'll see what his status is as we get closer to the end of the week. Rondale Moore, we kind of talked about the Cardinals and Marquise Brown and his injury situation there. Rondale Moore has been playing okay, not necessarily great, but he got almost 11 fantasy points this past week. He's never going to be a huge part of the Arizona passing game, but if the Cardinals figure it out, Rondale Moore does at least have some path to targets there, and at least in deeper leagues feels like he's worth an ad.
Yeah, I think so. I think if Marquise Brown didn't get hurt yesterday, I wouldn't really be too excited about Rondale Moore with D-Hop returning, but we don't know the status of Marquise Brown, so Rondale Moore's role might not really change. It might just be like, all right, there's a new number one here, but I'm still playing this complementary role. I think when they're fully healthy, Moore takes a big hit, but who knows how long, what Marquise Brown is dealing with right now.
I also would love to see them use more downfield. as opposed to just screen passes, little swings, whatever.
They like last year he had the lowest air yards per target, I think, in Next Gen Stats history. Like let this guy, like that's what we were excited about him coming out of college.
Yeah, he's a glorified running back basically. They
Yeah.
just use him as a pass catching back almost, and that's sort of weird. You mentioned Big Bob Tanyon, who had a ton of targets for the Packers this past week. I know he's very hard to peg on a week-to-week basis, but then again, so is the tight end position. So it feels like Tanyon, I mean, it's hard to do worse at this point at tight end.
Yeah, like I don't love his matchup next week, but at some point it's like, all right, I mean, this is his 12 targets yesterday is huge volume. He's now had at least 7 in 2 of his last 4 games. This is the thing with him. Like, he could come out next week and give you 2 targets, and you're like, why did I pick this guy up and start him? But this is what the Packers passing game kind of has been. Like, Alan Lazard is safe. Romeo Doubs is safe, at least volume-wise. And then the third target is going to be someone different every week.
Up in the air. We thought maybe it'd be Aaron Jones. That doesn't seem to be consistent, so maybe Bob Tanyon is also in the mix for some of those opportunities. So if you are adding guys, it means you are probably going to have to be dropping guys as well. Who is somebody that no longer needs to occupy space on your roster?
Elijah Moore. We had very high hopes for him coming into this year, and in a game yesterday, like 2 weeks ago, the Jets scored 40 points and Elijah Moore didn't do anything. And then yesterday, he legitimately did not do anything. He did not have a target. That's why there's no B-roll right now, because there's no targets of Elijah Moore yesterday playing against the Green Bay Packers. And this is what Elijah Moore tweeted after the game. He said, "If I say what I really want to say, I'll be the selfish guy. We're winning. Grateful. Huge blessing. All I ever wanted. But bittersweet for me because I'll be solid. I'm just staying quiet. Just know I don't understand either." Like, he's saying, like, hey, throw me the ball, but I can't say that because we're winning games right now.
Basically, he's like, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but understand that I want to say what I want. Like, we know what you're saying. You basically said it without actually saying it, but Elijah Moore has just not produced at all. He's just not been a part of it. I don't know that it's his fault, but he's just not getting opportunities. Russell Gage was a guy that I thought had some sleeper potential, especially early in the season as Chris Godwin was working his way back from injury, and he just really has never materialized. And even with Julio Jones not being in action, Julio out again this past week, you're still not getting a ton out of Russell Gage. Not a lot of targets, not a lot of yards. It's an offense that basically revolves around 3 people. It's Chris Godwin, it's Mike Evans, it's Leonard Fournette. That's kind of it in Tampa, and I don't see it getting any better. I mean, we're talking about maybe starting Cade Otton because he seems to have a better outlook. Russell Gage at this point can go back to the waiver wire, and you're not going to miss a whole lot of anything there. We got one more block. We're going to talk about some Madden Movers. It's our chance to give some shine to guys who otherwise didn't make it into the show and hope that they get a ratings boost from our friends over at EA. That's next on the NFL Fantasy Football Show.